Tony Tukumbo Fernandez show is all about promoting the true life and success stories of African and Caribbean achievers around the world. If there's a product or initiative you wish to share, feel free to give us a call. The number is 0788 280 9005. A very warm welcome to all our listeners around the world. You're welcome to the Tony Tukumbo Fernandez show, promoting the true life stories of people making a difference around the world. So if there's a product or initiative you wish to share, feel free to give us a call. The number is 0788 280 9005, or visit our website at www.myfernandez.com. We've got so many guests lined up this year, and we'll continue to keep you posted of people making a big difference around the world. And this week, we're still here in West Yorkshire, promoting the stories of people making a difference in this region. And we have an amazing guest today who is a dynamic financial controller. She has an accounting background and has over 10 years experience of advising people on clarity of how they deal with their money through her self-employed accountancy firm. She's also a mother and also a devout Muslim, and has a very profound and positive mindset about life. So it's a pleasure to have for the very first time Farhana on the Tony Tukumbo Fernandez show. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling well, thank you. Yeah, in good spirits. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
And it's great to see you in person. We've got listeners from all over the world. So for the benefit of all our listeners around the world today, can you just tell us a bit about yourself, your background, and the things you're most passionate about in life?
Yeah, absolutely. So with myself, I was born in the UK, and my grandparents were actually immigrants. So my paternal grandparents are from India, and my maternal grandparents, or my maternal grandmother, she was actually born in South Africa and raised in South Africa. But my parents themselves, they were actually born in the UK. And so I'm identify as third generation. And then essentially speaking, I am an accountant. I have a background in accountancy, as you had rightly introduced me. But I have been in the accounts profession for around a decade, but I actually didn't have a linear life. I qualified as a licensed accountant just 5 years ago. So in terms of my outlook of life, it's generally, I think things get thrown to us that we don't expect. I had a conversation with my father today, actually. I went to see my parents. I usually go to see them on a Sunday. And my father actually quoted that, we plan, but God's the best of planners. And that sort of falls very true in terms of my life. I think, we always, I've had sort of somewhat plans when I was a teenager. They didn't work. And then as I've grown and become older, I think I'm approaching 40 now. But ultimately, I think that it's kind of just being consistent and just being disciplined and sort of being, I'm trying to think of the right word here, sort of just being adaptable and resilient through life's processes to kind of keep learning, keep growing. I believe in a holistic way of living. So I believe my mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, it all intertwines together. So to not neglect either. So yeah.
Yeah, and I was reading your bio only 2 days ago, and I found it very, very, very profound. And I know you have a very, very beautiful mindset, but we'll come to that in a bit. But what would you say are the greatest lessons you've learned in life so far, in the journey of life, and how have they shaped you or changed you as a person?
So I think that Probably lessons from like pain and struggle. So I think that there's a couple of ways that individuals can deal with pain and struggle. So you either get defeated by it and kind of have this victim mentality that, I'm a victim, this has happened to me, why has it happened to me? But whenever I think for me, pain and struggle has just kind of made me better. So I always used to tell myself that this is temporary. No individual is happy 100% of the time. We all go through ups and downs. So whenever I went through deeply painful, traumatic, or struggling processes, I used to always tell myself, this is temporary, it's going to be over, and I have to just ride through it. And just sort of, I think there's always, again, individuals can go through a wide range of pain and struggle in their lives, but there'll always be certain aspects that you can control at that moment in time. So I kind of look at things as controllable elements and uncontrollable elements. So I always think that in my sort of best capacity, I'm going through this pain at the moment. I'm going through this struggle at the moment. But this is what I can control right now. I can control, say, for example, what I'm having for breakfast this morning, or that I can enjoy at least the fresh air outside. And just to have like an optimistic mindset in the process, I think it just provides a great deal of overall gratitude, regardless of what circumstance I have been in or situation that I have been in.
Now, the spirit of resilience and the ability to overcome challenges is something you talk about a lot. How important would you say it is to have these qualities today in our personal life or even as an entrepreneur?
So I think me personally, I'll be a bit biased because obviously clearly I haven't had an easy life, but I think a lot of individuals don't have easy lives. But ultimately, I think once you overcome the pain and the struggle, you become overall appreciative of a lot of the things that you have. So you kind of think back to the time when you didn't have A, B, or C, or when you had a certain struggle which you don't have anymore. I mean, I can say that we are humans and, I'm not perfect. I can become complacent. It's not to say that I'm 100% all the time. I still have my good days and bad days without having major things looming on my head. But ultimately, I feel like just that going through the journey and the process is, for me, that was the only way I can sort of walk towards brilliance or walk towards fulfillment.
When you talk about journey, then, what would you say is the most fascinating chapter or chapters in your life so far?
So I think fascinating is that's an interesting choice of word. Um, I don't think that I could. I have definitely had, I'll be honest, traumatic experiences. I wouldn't call them fascinating, but I think the most traumatic experience was when I got divorced the second time. And that happened just under 3 years ago. And I felt that after that divorce, because I was at an all-time low, I've just become so much more resilient and so much happier with the new identity that I've been able to embrace.
And when we have these kind of traumatic experiences in life, sometimes we all go through various chapters in our life of triumph and despair and all sorts. And sometimes we go through a phase of silence and reflection. And when we go through that phase of silence and reflection, how do you feel it changes us as people in the journey of life?
Yeah, I definitely 100% agree that silence and reflection is very, very important. We can easily, obviously, even when you have periods of silence and reflection, it's very easy to still get together with the busyness and the hustle of everyday life. I mean, I'm a parent, I have a 15-year-old son. And mothering comes in the way, parenting comes in the way, your day job comes in the way, or a couple of the important things that you have to do to pay your bills and what have you. But to be able to just go away and reflect and journal and to really contemplate, and I think it's having that accountability as well. So I think, again, when I spoke about having a victim mindset, if we always think that things are happening to us, we can never rise above it. Yes, you can be a survivor if you go through certain things, but ultimately, it's just taking that power back to yourself and again, reflecting that, again, where was I in this? What have I allowed? What was controllable? What was uncontrollable? How can I do better? And I think that notion of how can I do better should be within each and every one of us. Even when, say, we're over 40, 50, 60, when supposedly we're supposed to have it all together. I'm not sure whether I would ever want to have the outlook that that's it, I've reached everything now, I know everything, and that's it. So I think contemplation, reflection, and certainly if you've got a bit more of it due to the phase of life, like at the moment, obviously I'm a mother, um, I'm a business owner, and I have a sort of a senior leadership role. But at the same time, that quiet time, just reflecting, how can I still grow from this? What have I done in the past, or what has happened that could kind of, maybe I could make a difference in this world? How can I give back to society? What makes me more fulfilling from within, not just external? So a lot of individuals look at the external and say, for example, how you're doing professionally, or what how you talk, maybe how you look. But ultimately, that inner world, nobody knows what my inner world is like, what my inner world has been like, and what it is right now. So to nurture the inner world and to really, I think that reflection and that accountability that comes into place and to kind of nurture from within is such an important process.
And Farhana, I've only known you for a few weeks now, and I'm very proud to say I can see you manifesting very many profound chapters and blessings in the future. Um, for the benefit of all our listeners around the world today, can you just tell them a bit about the current initiatives you're involved in right now and the initiatives you hope to engage in, say, in the next 6 months or 12 months from now?
Yes, absolutely. So currently, in terms of my positioning with work and all the rest of it, so I work as a financial controller for a retail company, and I also work as a fractional financial controller for another sister retail company. And my services are currently open for any businesses that would like to take me on as a fractional financial controller. In addition to this, I also have my own accountancy services, which I take on sole traders or partnership entities. And I also provide referrals in relation to finance. So that's what I have going currently. I'm also heavily involved in the Muslim networking scene. So there are various groups within the country, and I like to network and I like to see what other individuals are doing, how I can add value, how, like, once we speak to other individuals, we learn a lot, and we can learn from each other. And then in terms of, I am definitely looking, I feel like I'm still becoming, I'm still figuring things out. And I think it's okay to still figure things out and be in that process and in that journey. So I would love to take part on a board level somewhere as a trustee for maybe a women's group, and also if it's in the BAME community, then absolutely. I understand the challenges that can come from the different identities associated with being, say, a woman from the BAME community or having a background from the BAME community. And then inevitably, I know this is maybe an ambition or an aspiration, and it's something that I've just recently looked into, and I would say it's probably within the last days. And it is, I would like to thank you, Tony, because it's through your mentorship that I had sort of a little bit of a light bulb moment, shall I say. So I would love to inevitably become a non-executive director in a charitable company. So that is definitely something that I would very much like to work towards. But again, like my father said, we plan and God is the best of planners. But absolutely, there's no harm in manifestation, and I'm definitely going to do that more.
I'm sure you will. And we'll do our best to tap within our network. And the future remains so bright for you. I'm so, so proud of you, Farhana. Uh, Not just as one of our people on our projects, but also as a friend. But also, for the benefit for all the listeners listening today, in case you want to know more about your business services, what do you provide, and all, are there any social media handles they can tap into?
Absolutely. So I'm a digital creator on Facebook, and you can also find me on LinkedIn. They are actually under two different names. I've actually had three different names in the past couple of decades, but that comes from being married twice. I'm happy to share that with you if you like.
That's fine. And we'll put your handles under the screen as well. I mean, you're always yourself. Um, on a very final note, for the benefit of all our listeners around the world today, especially the women in the BAME community, what message do you have for them?
I just want to say that as a woman, we generally juggle many different hats. And sometimes, like, I feel like with myself, certain individuals like to put us in boxes, shall I say. So I don't think that we as women should be defined by other individuals. I think we should firstly try and know ourselves, and we live in a world now, it's 2025, that we can be anything that we set our mind to. And the few mantras or say terms that I kind of use is one is, again, this comes from my faith. So I um, started praying 5 times a day when I was 11 years old, right until the age of 37, and I rarely miss a prayer. So that shows consistency and discipline. And if we apply consistency and discipline to our lives, then I think we can go very, very far. And then together with what I said in relation to accountability, because just bettering ourselves. And there was one other, hard work. So hard work is also, I think that the beauty with hard work is that even if nothing comes from it, you get that fulfillment at the end of the day. And I think with hard work, you will receive the fruits at the end. So hard work, consistency, discipline, accountability. And I think that's the advice that I would give.
You know, we all have various destinations in life, goals. And when we go through those goals in life, what we aspire to become, it's a journey. And it's so, so important to enjoy that journey and not just think about the destination. So it's wonderful to have you this evening. And I'm sure you're going to be an inspiration for very many women out there. The power of resilience, triumph, and also being the change you want to see in society. So keep shining all the way, and we love you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.